Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Now, you guys clicked on the video, seen the title. Right now, I'm in my hotel room. I'm in the Natty, Ego in Cincinnati, and I'm going to be covering the Broner fight. This is the little setup. They're getting Xavier University all primed and pretty for this Saturday's fight. So make sure you guys stick around and stay tuned, like and subscribe. Got a lot of stuff coming. And I flew in. I ran into Anthony Peterson. I was waiting for my bag and he was there. And I stopped him real quick, got a little picture. And his brother's fighting on this card, so you guys definitely want to check it out. Showtime, Broner Granados, Lamont Peterson. He's fighting for a spot. Basically, the winner of Lamont Peterson versus David Avanesian is in line for the Danny Garcia Keith Thurman winner, whoever holds that WBA belt. So that'll be a good look. Let's say Lamont Peterson. I would say it'd be better for boxing if Peterson wins because he's the bigger name, especially in the States or whatever. So let's say Peterson beats David Avanesian, which, I mean, a lot of people thought he even beat Danny Garcia. That could set up a Danny Garcia rematch if Danny Garcia beats Keith Thurman. Or if Keith Thurman beats Danny Garcia, that's another fight I would like to see. Lamont Peterson versus Keith Thurman. I mean, he's moving up to welterweight, but his brother said he's ready. And it's just a lot of excitement. I mean, same thing I'm not trying to sleep on David Avanesian. I've seen this fight with Shane Mosley. I don't know that he beats Peterson, but if he does beat him fair and square and he keeps his mandatory position, because initially he was the mandatory for Keith Thurman. And here's me flying in. From moment to moment. Thank you. Yeah, so it was cool, man. Like it's kind of cold out here, but I heard it's supposed to, the next couple of days is supposed to heat up or whatever and be nicer weather. But Cincinnati's cool so far. If you guys are from the area, let me know some good spots to eat. I went to this one spot and they said it was open till 9 and it actually was closed at like 8:10. So back to this particular video, what you guys see. I want to break it down for you, what's happening. A lot of people, and make sure you guys follow me. Again, I posted this almost an hour ago on my social media. Sometimes if I'm on the go, it's easy and I'll just give you guys the news there, and then I'll come around and make a video when I get a chance, if I get a chance. But this is the situation. Jamaal Charlo, IBF champion, former IBF champion now, he's moving up to 160, which he said that 2 fights ago, because I was at his fight. It was a Showtime triple header where he fought Austin Trout. His brother fought against John Jackson, and the main event was Edeslani Lara versus Vanes Matarosan 2. And at that fight, he said he's moving up to 160, but he got a lot of stick from fans saying he was ducking Julian J. Rock Williams. So he did what he had to do in camp and starve himself out a bit to make weight, and then he fought Julian J. Rock Williams last December 2016. He looked brilliant, like you know what I'm saying? He looked dangerous. Knocked him down and then ended up stopping him with the disgusting counter uppercut. Shout out to Ronnie fucking Shields, man. Ronnie Shields, I don't know what, if you look at it, Jamaal Charlo and Edeslani Lara, they just stopped people with uppercuts. That's what set everything up. You know what I'm saying? Edeslani Lara, obviously he was only fighting Yuri Foreman, so Jamal's win was more impressive, but I don't know what he's teaching in that gym in Texas, but shout out to Ronnie Shields for that fucking uppercut. But Jamaal Charlo, I like what he did, because if he would have moved up after the Austin Trout fight, then that would have looked bad, because people are already saying that he didn't want no issue with Julian J. Rock Williams, who was undefeated, who looked dangerous, and he stuck around. And I told you, I liken this to the Kell Brook Errol Spence situation. It's almost the same exact concept in one division higher at 154, because Errol Spence is looking like, okay, this is the guy, people are like fronting him off like, oh, he hasn't fought nobody, he doesn't have a name, he doesn't bring the money. And it's easy to do that right now because the biggest names on his resume, Leonard Bundu and Chris Algieri, right? So people are fronting on him, like, and say, oh no, he needs to do this and that, and I had to wait, like, earn my stripes, and he needs to earn his. And now he's worked himself into a mandatory position. People are saying Kell Brook don't want to fight him, and Kell Brook kind of stalled the process for a while, and it looked like he didn't want the fight, to be honest, right? I never said if he was or wasn't going to duck. I said based on his actions, what he's saying, calling him Jeff Lacy, but then saying he doesn't bring money and no one knows him. Why are you answering questions and constantly being asked questions about Errol Spence if nobody knows him? That shows you there is some level of interest, because if people don't know him, then reporters aren't going to know or have the wherewithal to ask questions about that. They're going to save their questions. Like, shout out to my dude Luis Collazo, no shade, but Collazo, after he beat Victor Ortiz, I think it was, he said, Floyd Mayweather, I want to fight you, come to Brooklyn, we can get it on. And it kind of fell on deaf ears, because it's Floyd Mayweather we're talking about. He's not going to fight Collazo in Brooklyn, where he's from. It just didn't make sense. So you never really heard the media or reporters asking about that. Nobody was really saying, oh, Floyd needs to fight Collazo or he's ducking. You know what I mean? So it kind of, everything has to fall in line. But similar situation with the Jamaal Charlo. But Jamaal Charlo, he didn't start saying, I want to fight X, Y, and Z and Canelo. And I mean, he didn't do anything different. Kell Brook kind of did, but whatever. May 20th, we're getting the fight. And we'll see. And this will be an opportunity for Kell Brook. If he does what Jamaal Charlo does and like stops Errol Spence or just beats him convincingly, beats the brakes off of him, then that'll be a good look. And then he can move up in peace and nobody will say anything, just like Jamaal Charlo. You notice nobody's complaining that he's vacating his title to move up. He's a big dude. He can no longer make the weight. He stuck around long enough to beat Cornelius Bundridge, stuck around long enough to beat Austin Trout, stuck around long enough to beat his mandatory who people said he was afraid of. Now he's moving up. He can move up. He has, you know what I'm saying? He has every right to move up at this point, and that's what it is. But with that move, him moving up to 160, that has afforded Tony Harrison and Jarrett Hurd the opportunity at his title. And this is the breaking news, because this fight was initially going to be an IBF eliminator. So no title was at stake. It was an IBF eliminator, and the winner of this would be in line for the Charlo shot. But he made the formal announcement that, hey, I'm moving up. I'm going to 160 to pursue bigger and better opportunities where my body fills out better. And now this became a title fight, because the eliminator guys are now just fighting for the vacant title, which is good because this is a good fight. So they're getting it done. One other thing I got to say about Jamaal Charlo is I like him at 160. I think, you know what I mean? I've seen him, like I said, I was at his fight with Austin Trout. He's a big dude. He's like 6'1", something like that. I don't know. I wasn't that close to him. But he's a big enough dude. He clearly has skill. He has power. He has momentum now off of the stopping his mandatory J-Rock. And 160, the fight I want to see build up. Obviously, I'm not saying straight away, but I want to see him fight the winner of Triple G versus Jacobs. I mean, that would be a crazy fight. If Danny Jacobs upsets Triple G, because that's, I guess people are saying it's an upset because he's an underdog. So if he wins and then he later on fights Jamaal Charlo, that's a scrap, right? If Triple G wins, he's saying if Triple G beats Jacobs, he's saying he can't get no work, and there are not that really many people that want to fight him, that many opportunities. This will be a good opportunity. So that's another reason I like to move to 160. Also, you got guys, Curtis Stevens, David Lemieux winner. I would watch all of those fights with Charlo, right? I think they're all good fights. But, and I, you know, some people are going to be like, oh, Curtis Stevens, David Lemieux. They're going to look at skill. Jamaal Charlo is clearly more skilled than both of them in terms of just hand-to-hand combat skill and countering, better defense, stuff like that. But we got to see if he can take a punch from the heaviest hitters up at 160. So it's a good look, and I look for competitive fights with Jamaal Charlo, but I like this move from him. But shout out to my dude, Jarrett Swift Hurd. He's getting the opportunity of a lifetime, and I reached out to him on Instagram and told him to make the most of it. Tony Harrison, he's another person. He's come back since the Willie Nelson loss, and I think he might even got stoppages in the fight. But this is a good fight. It's a dangerous fight. Swift Hurd is another person with disgusting uppercuts, silly uppercuts. So this will be his biggest step up in class. I mean, Oscar Molina, that was cool. He fought Frank Galarza, undefeated at Frank Galarza, I think. But this to me is the biggest test, so I really like this fight. Now, I gotta say this in closing. Al Haymon is the fucking Don, man. He's really getting stuff done. Like, I'm at Cincinnati right now as we speak. Ego in the Natty, right? Broner Granados on Showtime, right? You have on the undercard Lamont Peterson, a name, moving up to welterweight, fighting David Avanesian, who is Keith Thurman's current mandatory. Now, again, the winner of that fight will be the mandatory for Garcia Thurman winner, right? Then you also have on that card Marcus Brown versus Thomas Top Dog Williams. Two aggressive guys, not really known for defense. I feel like someone's getting hurt or going to sleep, right? So that's a triple header. Easy a triple header. Then next week, you have Deontay Wilder, and through no fault of his own, his cheating ass opponents, right? Andre Wawrski, he cheated himself out of the opportunity, literally, right? So they put in a late replacement, which I told you is my dude from the 707, Gerald Washington, who's bigger, who's a better boxer, and has better, I think, stylistic matchup with Deontay Wilder than Andre Wawrski. Plus, Wawrski, he's been stopped. Gerald Washington's undefeated, hasn't been stopped, and he's bigger, and he can box, right? And he's tough. He's athletic too. He's in shape, former USC football player. That's the main event. You also have on the undercard Caleb Plant, my dude. Shout out to Caleb Plant, very skilled. If you don't know about him now, you'll probably know about him soon. And then, like I said in this video, Tony Harrison, Jarrett Hurd, which is now a title fight. And then on top of that, you have Dominique Brazil, who's fighting I think he's from Africa or Ghana or something. I forgot how to pronounce his name. Izugazu or something. And he's undefeated and he's a knockout artist. Look at his record. And that's Dominique Brazil, who has one loss to Anthony Joshua. That's who he's fighting. It was supposed to be Spilka initially, but that's who he's fighting. Killing. Al Haymon is killing. Listen to me. If you're a fan of one of my favorite movies, Demolition Man, you'll know Al Haymon is doing an MDK. Murder, death, kill. He's killing. Not to mention Garcia versus Thurman is the first week of March, right? And I got coverage from the Keith Thurman Media Day. We working. Clearly Al Haymon's working. This is not about picking sides, but fair is fair. And Al Haymon got the juice right now. It's just what it is. It's like so much. He has so much boxing. I see why people are mad at him. You know what I'm saying? I really do, because it's just too much. He's like, too much. It's too much. That's really what it is. There's so much boxing that he's putting on. He's putting on triple and double headers, and they're back to back. Okay, here's another one. And I told you about this on the channel. Jamaal Charlo, the other brother who's not moving to 160, he's fighting his mandatory, Charles Hatley, who's also from Texas. So that's a Texas versus Texas, Texas on Texas. They're from different parts. I think Houston versus Dallas. And I heard on the music scene, I don't know, I'm not from Texas, but I got some family and stuff. But I heard on the music scene, it kind of gets beef. Like, people in Houston don't really bump Dallas as much. Maybe some classic artists and whatnot. And people from like Dallas don't bump Houston. People in Houston don't really bump Dallas music. So that's a good little beef. It's a mandatory situation, and it's a good fight. Charles Hatley also hopped in the ring at the fight I told you I covered, Charlo versus Trout. He hopped in the ring on the Charlo brothers. So there's some beef that's been brewing there. And then also you have Gary Russell Jr. versus Escandon, which is another mandatory fight. Crazy. Al Haymon's killing. But first, Broner Granados, which I think is a good stylistic matchup. Someone sent me this and had me dying. They said, look at AB, he's ready for his fight week. That does look like Broner too. Like a young, like, remember the Biggie video with 112, sky is limit? I like to think of, because he came up with the phrase, he went from ashy to classy. I'm sewing tigers on my shirts and alligators. You want to see the inside? Huh, I see you later. Shout out to B.I.G. Shout out to Al Haymon. He's doing it real. B.I.G. Easy work. Crazy schedule. I'm excited as a reporter, as a fan, as a everything. Let me know what you guys think. But I'm happy for Jarrett Swift Hurd and Tony Harrison, because this is a good fight. Now they can fight for the title. And shout out to Jamaal Charlo for, I'm always a fan of this. don't stall out the process. If you can't make 154 no more, and you have to move up to 160, or you think there's better opportunities for you at 160, whatever, just drop the belt, vacate the belt. And he didn't take too long. He just fought in December, and now he already said in December too that he was probably dropping it. Now he just formally dropped it, right? So I appreciate fighters for doing that. Like, I mean, I'm not taking it for what it's worth. Canelo versus Triple G, I think that made him look extremely bad, but at least he didn't hold on to the belt and hold it hostage only to later drop. Well, he kind of did, but bottom line is I like when people don't stall out the process. Give the Tony Harrisons and Jarrett Hurd the opportunity to fight for the title, since you have no more interest at 154 and you're taking your talents to South Beach, aka 160. Tyson Fury, shout out to him. He's another person that did it. Popped dirty for coke twice. Said, guess what? I'm vacating my titles, giving them up, and now guys are able to fight for them instead of going through preliminary hearings and all this stuff, and then the verdict is you get stripped. Let me know what you guys think. Great fights. Shout out to PBC, Al Haymon, getting it done. Let me know your thoughts. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.